Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Fans, man. I am Bobby Cool, Daddy Slick Breeze, and with me, Eric Stormtrooper McCabe.
What up?
He's got his Stormtrooper Hydro Flask with him.
My Secret Santa gift.
Oh, nice.
Is what that was.
Keeping you nice and cool on this 104 degree, well.
Feels like.
What do they call that? The heat index?
Yeah.
Yes,
104
the
degrees.
Heat index.
So it's a hot one here, and we have another hot one, Mr. Robert
McCall. Hey! Compliment. All right.
Robert McCall is in the house, of course. So we're back here. It's Tuesday afternoon, our normal time recording.
It's our normaler time.
Normaler time recording. And hopefully you'll have this out on Wednesday morning to listen to. So, and then, of course, we have the video version format out at YouTube for last week's episode. So what do we got going on this week, guys? We got the disc golf experience at Nissan Stadium.
Yeah.
Why is that cool, Robert?
Nashville.
Well,
Nashville.
That's cool. Is that how they say it?
I think so.
Yeah,
Vegas.
I've been there once, but I don't.
Nash Vegas.
We'll find out this weekend.
We will find out. That is cool because if you are like us, I know that we've talked about this some, but a lot of times I'll be walking in a building or through some trees or even just driving around.
Like walking into a building, like literally walking.
No. Like I walked in the door.
Oh,
now I'm not going to run into anything.
Okay,
hopefully.
Okay.
But I'll be walking through a building or just driving by some trees or something and be like, man, that would be a really cool place to throw a disc through. Like just down a row of trees or down a hallway in a stadium or in an office or something. Well, we get to do that now with the disc golf experience. So Nissan Stadium is in Nashville where the Tennessee Titans play. We've got a 9-hole setup, and we've got a couple of discs that are only going to be released for this event. You want to tell us about those ones, Eric?
Sure. I would love to.
Yep.
One of them is a fluid slammer. I know a lot of people are really excited about that one. It's just this year has been released as a TFR in like Lucid. So getting it in fluid is just going to mean it's going to be beefy.
Yeah, and hopefully
really
stick
overstable
pretty well.
and stick. Yeah, or absorb hits off trees.
Yeah.
And then the other one is the Ceric from Latitude 64. And I believe, I'm not positive on it, but I think the color pattern is going to be a little different than they've done in the past. I think they're going to be closer to the Tennessee Titans colors.
Oh, nice.
So that's going to be exciting. And the only place you're going to be able to get these, at least right now, is through the disc golf experience.
Yep.
So hopefully you listen to this episode before the weekend, and if you're in the Nashville area, even if you're within driving distance, there's still time to sign up. We have plenty of spots open. It's going to be a really good time.
I think we're even going to be taking some walk-ups. If there's
I think
available
so.
room,
Oh, yeah.
we'll be accepting walk-ups. So if you get a last-minute wild hair, do it.
That's right. And we'll have a lot of different pros there as well. So Eric McCabe is going to be there.
I'll be there.
Bobby and I will be there. You can call us pros if you want to, but whatever. But then Paige Pierce will be there, 4-time world champion.
Yep.
Zach Melton will be there as well. Eric Oakley and Tina Stenitis will be there.
I thought maybe Eric took her name.
Yeah, they got married recently. I don't know if you guys knew. They're doing something new.
Stenitis.
Eric Oakley and Tina Stenitis will be there. So, I mean, even if you're just coming to hang out, it's worth the experience. Having gotten to play the one at in Cowboy Stadium in the AT&T Stadium, it was so much more fun than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be really fun, and then it was just better than that. It's really cool.
Another special guest, if you want to come out and say hello to this gentleman, is Terry Miller, the disc golf guy. Is actually going to be there.
Will he ever become the disc golf man? Is he just like
no?
Is he okay? Just the guy. Okay.
Just the guy.
Just the guy. Okay.
So anyway, get signed up, guys. Disc golf scene, or you can sign up. I think we're going to try to maybe have some people walk up and sign up, so that'd be kind of fun.
I think I also saw Team DD member Jared Neal is planning on being there in attendance as well, along with Jonathan Ray, RV driver.
Yep,
so.
and brand new guy, Danny Lindahl is planning.
I saw
on
he
making
was
the
trying
trip.
to make it.
Yeah, he's not sure yet, but he was trying to get
confirmed.
some more details. So
That'd be cool. That's
Yeah,
another guy to
absolutely.
get some cool video of.
Yeah, very cool.
Not that he's familiar with taking video.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys need to look him up. Danny Lindahl, Lindahl on YouTube, because he puts out some really good video.
His Snapchat's pretty awesome too.
Is it?
Yeah,
I got to
it
check
is.
that out.
You should check it out.
So anyways, all right, so on to the next. Yesterday, we had Paige Pierce. That was Monday, July 10th. Paige Pierce stopped by to see some of her friends that live here in Emporia, Kansas, and she took a few hours out to go to the store and sign some commemorative design discs, Dymax designs. Hopefully, you follow us on our social media and you're aware of what was going on. You were able to place orders for these discs or any disc in the store, and Paige Pierce would sign them for you. And I'd say she signed
over 400 for sure,
400
probably
discs.
around 5.
Yeah, so just really cool time. We did some live videos, so that was fun time. So
That was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
And it was all hands on deck in the retail store for a minute.
It was.
There was probably 7 or 8 of us exclusively dedicated to making that happen. And so it was a lot of fun. We had a good afternoon.
I know I had Facebook Live going, I had YouTube Live going, then I had Instagram Live going, then I had Periscope going.
It was great.
It was everything crazy, but it was fun. Really good time. So thank you, Paige Pierce, for taking time out of your day to do that now. And now she's on her way to Nissan Stadium.
And Bobby even pulled some orders, by the way. Just to he's not above anything.
No.
He's going to get the job done no matter
Great.
what the job is.
How many did you screw up?
I almost screwed up one.
So if yours is wrong,
Clay caught it.
call
and
Bobby.
corrected it
Cool
for
Daddy
me.
Slick Breeze.
That's not surprising. That Clay would
Clay
catch
caught
it.
me. Yeah,
Yeah,
Clay's
right.
good at catching that stuff. So anyway, so really good stuff. But I also wanted to talk about her amazing round at the Rocky Mountain Women's
a couple of them.
Disc Golf
Rounds.
Championship. Of course, Paige Bjork was out there. She got 6th place, and Paige Pierce took the win. Now, after
She had a killer first round.
47,
Yep.
which was a
10-20?
10:21
10-21.
rated round.
That's pretty good.
Crushed the course. The only person that was close to her on that day was Lisa Fakis, who had a 51. And then, of course, went to round 3. Let me pull this.
She was tied with Val going into
Tied
the
with
final
Val,
round.
yeah. Round 3. She only had
Yeah.
was it the same course the whole time?
I don't know.
I believe it was, but I don't know that for sure.
Okay.
I know the first and last round, I believe,
They're
are the same.
That's right.
Okay. So Paige got a 53 in the second round, about a 938 rated round.
Yeah.
What is she rated?
Not great for her.
Yeah, not great for her. She's rated
971.
1. But then came back round 3. Now, from my understanding, I talked to Terry Miller because he was up there filming that the first 9 holes weren't so great, but then she killed it on
Caught
the
fire.
Yeah, on the last 9 and shot even better than the first day and got a 1029 rated round. Got a shot of 46 with obviously catapulted her into the win. So
Yeah, that's
awesome.
averaging 996 on the weekend. I mean, come on. Like, that's good.
yeah.
And replace that 938 with even a couple strokes under her rating, 950 something,
Yeah.
and she's over 1,000.
Yeah.
And Terry Miller put out a video of her getting an eagle on that 540-foot downhill par 4.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go and check out Disc Golf Guy on YouTube if you want to see how to absolutely mash a biodefender in some elevation. And she did it both rounds, she told me. So they've got the one on video that you saw earlier, and then she did it the final round as well.
Nice.
So turns out that's good.
Yeah. And then we had a couple other team members that did really well. Miles Seaborn won a C tier out in, was it Texas he was playing?
Weatherford, I believe.
Weatherford, okay.
That's Texas.
And then Chris Smith or Smitty
Smitty.
won himself a, was it a B2?
No,
Two
2 C
C
tiers,
tiers.
back-to-back days. Yeah.
I think Nate Martin, also a team member, got second at one of those.
Nice.
That's right.
And then all the way in Sweden, Yanni Hersmaki.
Smaki.
Her smack.
Hersmaki. He was on the lead card for the last day.
I saw that.
And then he placed 4th.
And then he ran.
And then
Yeah,
I saw
penalty.
that.
Penalty, he ran.
I know, I saw that video on Instagram. I was like, dude, I got to share that. I was like,
I just
what
assumed,
happened?
I just assumed he was running from the mosquitoes.
Right.
Yeah. But I sent him a message. I said, tell me what's going on here. And he says, I was taking a penalty lap because I didn't win.
I like it.
So that was funny.
Also, Zach Melton got his first win
Yes, he did.
as
Melton.
a team member.
Yep,
this
shooting a
past
course
weekend
record, second round.
in Virginia.
Nice.
And I think Paige was telling me his last hole, he had a 45-footer. Whole gallery was there. Everybody had kind of finished up. It was on their last hole, and he hit that 45-footer to beat Chris Dickerson, who's heck of a player in my opinion. A really, really, really talented multi-tool player, and so and good friends with Zach. So I'm sure they had a great time playing together.
Cool.
That's awesome.
And they're good friends, I believe, from past.
right. Yeah, I said.
So.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
They're bros.
Yeah.
sorry guys if you're like, okay, whatever for your team, but we're happy. That's kind of cool that a lot of our team members are doing really well. So
It's
we
our
wanna-
team.
We want to celebrate them.
I mean,
Well, it's some people listen to this and they don't, they other brands.
Not what?
I've never heard of it.
Which is okay. Yeah. It's totally okay.
Totally. We're just proud of our people.
Exactly. We're proud of our people, proud of our product, and proud of our pride.
Yeah. We're
Proud to be proud.
Proud to be proud.
You know what? Let's just keep on moving to something
let's
else.
move along. All right, so let's go ahead and hop into the questions. We got a few Speakpipe, and then we'll head on to the regular question form. But let's head over to Speakpipe. Remember, guys, you can go to discgolfanswerman.com, submit your questions. If you want to try to jump ahead, you can you send in a Speakpipe question. It's just like a voicemail. It's like sending in a voicemail. We'll play it on the air. Also, we're trying out something new. We're putting some of the answers on our Anchor app. And we're actually getting a little bit of traction.
Yeah.
A little more than I thought, which is good. So we're going to continue with that. So we do kind of we call it Disc Golf Answer Man Daily, where we answer one question a day. And as our audience builds there, I think we might even go even deeper into the Anchor app because it has a feature where I can like literally call like Paige Pierce on the phone and record a 5-minute conversation, and it will turn it into an episode on the Anchor app.
Wow.
It'll record our conversation, our phone call, which I thought was pretty cool. So we're going to try to experiment with that a little bit more because you know how I like to be everywhere we can be, and as long as people are listening and stuff like that. So anyway, so you can find it at anchor.fm/disc-golf-answer-man. We'll have to figure something different for that because that's not really good. I know.
Wow.
Just go to the Anchor app and download it, and you can search for Disc Golf Answer Man, and you should be able to find it.
_.
I love dictating URLs to people. That's perfect.
All right, let's listen to the first one. This is from Harry.
Hi guys, I have a question about how many discs to carry in a disc golf bag in tournaments and casual rounds. For the last 2 years, I've used the B14 with bag, which carries about 24 to 25 discs for me, and I usually on a round I used to use about 22 of them. And now in the Trilogy Challenge this year, I managed to win a Ranger bag, so I've been using that for a couple of rounds. But as it fits only like 19, 20, I feel like I used most of them, and I still feel like I'm missing a few spots in the bag. So I'm curious what you think about that. Should I try to get down to those 19 discs or so, or should I just keep carrying a bigger bag? Basically, just a little bit of background. My bag is very simple. I've got like 8 molds that build up those 25 discs that I usually carry. So it's very simplified. It's just a range of beat up discs. All right. Thank you for everything you do, and keep up the good work.
All right. So what do you think, guys? What's
I wonder if he's got a commander bag.
I was thinking, well, I carried more than 19 in my commander bag.
Oh, okay.
So
I carry more than 19 in my Ranger.
Right. Maybe he's just not using the top part for
Could
discs.
be. That could be.
Which is all cool.
I like putting some backups up top.
Yeah.
But I also use the cart so I can load that bad boy up.
Right, and it has no effect on
Exactly.
you. It's awesome.
Exactly.
I don't know, for molds that I would use in a tournament, I like using the cart because I can load it down and take as many as I need to. But if I was limited to a bag, I mean, I think 20 would be pretty good. I don't think I'd be missing out on just a whole lot. You'd probably want to take a look at which ones of yours are the most similar, that have just the least stability difference, and just choose the one of those that you're more comfortable with. And I think that's how I would go through and eliminate molds if I needed to.
I also think it kind of depends on the course and the event you're playing. If it's a course where you just have backups in there in case you lose something, then you could look at the course and kind of determine, am I going to lose anything on this course? Tournament that comes to mind for me personally was USDGC. That was the one course that I would just overload my bag.
Right.
Because there was, early on, there's a chance you could lose a go-to disc on hole 5, you know?
Yep.
There's really not a whole lot of spots you can lose stuff, but it's always good to have backups, especially at a course and tournament like USDGC where I have a great disc that I know exactly what it does, but if I throw it on a shot and it goes OB, and I have to rethrow because it's stroke and distance, I have to have another disc that I'm confident will do the same thing. So, that's the one tournament where I can understand where he's coming from, wanting to have a bag full, just packed as much as you can, and a caddy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Someone else to haul it around.
Thanks for hauling this, buddy.
But yeah, I think the 1920 disc mark is is pretty good, especially me when I get into a groove during an event or even just league or whatever. I'm throwing the same 3 to 5 discs.
This is very true of you.
On every I mean, I'll throw it on every hole if I have to.
I've
And it
watched
works.
it happen. Yes, I've watched it happen. I've been like, he's working well with that disc, but it won't get there today. And it just
and it does.
every time.
So that's kind of my thought process, I suppose, on things.
Yeah.
Very cool. Next one is from Nate of the North.
Hi, Disc Golf Answer Man. It's Nate from Maine again. I am depressed about the fact that you guys didn't put a podcast out this week, so I'm submitting another question. My question is sort of pretty much what you guys think of this idea that I have. It's kind of a pipe dream, but it's to fill a gap in our state's disc golf coverage. We just don't have enough courses in the southern part of the state, and I would really like to start kind of almost like what ball golf country clubs have done. We get a bunch of members together, 100, maybe more, to contribute money, get a club started as a nonprofit, buy a piece of land, work on it together, pay people to work on it, pay maybe, Eric McCabe to design it, or maybe John Huck, somebody like that. But anyway, just kind of looking to see what you guys thought of the idea. It would be a pay-to-play course, but as a nonprofit, everything would go back into disc golf, back into the course itself, but it would be a private course where the members feel like they own it and they have a direction in it. Just seeing what you guys think about it. It could be a real dud of a question, but here goes.
You do this a lot.
I mean, if it sounds easy on paper,
Right.
I mean, discussing it, talking about it, but there's a lot of hoops to go through. I mean, it's not something that you can just be like, I'm going to buy this piece of land, and then everything's going to start falling into place. It's very difficult, and it's time-consuming. I mean, I've been working with parks departments and cities on installing courses, and I get the approval to do it, but we can't do anything until paperwork goes through, or the fiscal year goes out whenever it's different every community, really. So it's not something that just happens overnight. So doing it this way and taking your time with it and being very patient is going to be key. I'm not really experienced in nonprofit or dealing with the nonprofit organization side of things, I guess. But everything if the money's going in, I mean, you're obviously going to have to pay for taxes on the land. I mean, there's just so many logistics going into it. I think it's a cool idea. I think it could work out depending on how popular disc golf is in your area. And I know it's relatively popular in Maine, but there's not very many communities that could actually probably pull that off.
Yeah, I think that would be tough. I mean, my suggestion on the front end would be to get everything on paper as far as a plan goes, to where you know exactly how you're paying for it and who's in charge of what, and that you've got all the proper permits and paperwork and everything like that. Make sure you've done that on the front end before you even start, because if you start with less resources than you'll actually need, I think that's probably the most frustrating spot to be.
I would agree.
Yeah. And then just this is a plug for Eric, but it's also just a plug for professional course designers. If you're putting a course in the ground, at least consulting a professional course designer is in your best interest for several reasons. One, you want that course to be able to stay in the ground for a long time, and professional course designers know how to design with longevity in mind, with what trees are going to die in the next few years, what paths need to be kept intact in order for this to work. But they also design for safety, and that's
which is actually number one on my priority list.
For sure. But I think people look past that sometimes as like, we can have this next to each other, but at least we'll have a course in the ground. You'll get courses pulled quicker for safety probably than anything else.
True.
And then just overall value of the course. Like, you want to have a better course, they know how to make that happen.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep, agreed.
All right, next one is from Chris.
How's it going, Bobby E. Mac Brown, Eric, no nickname McCabe, and Robert Cool Daddy Slick Breeze McCall.
Whoa.
Just switching it up.
I think I messed something up there.
Yeah.
Either way. So, today I played a tournament, a pretty big tournament, you know, state birth implications on the line, things like that. Know the course pretty well. Played the course a lot. Pretty difficult course. Came in with a boatload of confidence, thinking I could do well, and completely pooed the bed. And it was so bad to the point where, you know, it probably was my worst tournament round ever. I don't think it's my worst rated round, but as far as I'm concerned with my skill level, it was my worst tournament round ever. It was so bad to the point where I was embarrassed for myself and for the people on my card that I was throwing the round that I did. So I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts and opinions on how you guys deal with situations like that. Have you ever been embarrassed in a round like that? And what are your best tips for dealing and coping with that and moving past it? Thanks, guys.
I can start off on this one. I think I've probably had more embarrassing rounds than Eric. Probably. I'm just betting.
But sometimes you embarrass me. So
wait, but that's just in life. So I think key number one when you're having a round like that is to remember that however you've played before that doesn't affect how you can play from here on out. Like, you can't get those strokes back. That's true, but playing bad, I don't think that's a thing. It's I threw a bad shot, now I go to my next shot. You know, instead of like you can look back on a round and be like, I didn't play as well as I should, but I don't know. I think resetting mentally is really, really important when you throw a bad shot. And yeah, that's one thing I would recommend. And the other is that if you're starting to feel embarrassed about how the round is going, you're thinking too much about what other people are thinking about. When I'm on the disc golf course, I'm thinking about how I need to play. If Eric's playing well, that's cool. If Eric's not playing well, that's cool.
It's not cool.
It's not cool, but no, it's really cool. It's just that's not a concern of mine. My concern is me. So that would be the tips that I would give you.
Yeah, I would say you nailed it with pretty much everything. Here's the thing: everybody has bad rounds.
Of course,
bad rounds are. I mean, it's kind of a relative term because my bad round may be Bobby's good round. You know, it kind of just depends on who you are. You know, what skill level you're already at. But you just got to keep in mind that everybody has a bad round. And everybody will have a bad round, and you just got to move forward. And it's not about how bad you played the last round. It's about moving forward and fixing whatever was an issue during that bad round. So if you had a bad putting day, then you should spend the next couple hours putting.
Yep.
If it was up shots, throwing up shots, and drives, throwing drives, whatever the case may be. So that's pretty much it.
Agreed.
It comes down to just about anything that in life that doesn't go the way you planned it. You just got to, it happens, and you just got to say, what now? Now what? Do I dwell on it or just move on?
Yep.
You move on.
Yeah, how you bounce back is, I think, almost even more important than how good you can be at your best.
Right.
Because that's where Ricky Wysocki doesn't play his best every single day, but his average days are still pretty darn good.
Right.
You know, even his bad days. Did you know his rating drops rounds that are in the 980s, 990s? That's how consistent he is at his rating. So when you do that so well, even your bad rounds, they're not going to be that bad. So how well you rebound from those is more important than when you just shoot lights out the one time, you know?
Absolutely.
Of course, he just shoots lights out most of the time.
Yeah, true.
Next one is from Mario.
Hello, Eric E. McCabe, Bobby Cool Daddy Slick Breeze, and Robert Rage McCall. I had a question about scuffing. I recently played on a card where a player would intentionally scuff another player who was in the middle of their X step off the tee pad, about to throw, and they would say, wait, is it your turn right now? I don't know if it's your turn yet.
Oh.
They're purposely trying to scuff them. You know, it's pretty obvious. They did it multiple times. And my question was, if the player being scuffed does indeed throw their shot, do they have to take that shot, or can they get a rethrow? And or does the player scuffing, I'm sure they get a courtesy warning, and then can they be stroked for that? All right, thanks, guys. Love the show.
I never heard that term.
Yeah, not used like that.
Yes. I thought he was saying they're scuffing their disc on the ground on purpose.
Sounds like icing the kicker.
Yeah, or
It's, you know,
or
trying-
razzing
Similar,
them, or
like calling timeout,
Yeah.
basically.
That
Sounds like a real
sucks,
jerk.
Man. Yeah,
No
I don't want to
kidding.
play with that guy.
I would absolutely. I would give him. I mean, the first time it happened, I'd be like, all right, whatever, that was an accident. But if it happens again, I'm calling you out.
Oh yeah,
I'm-
immediately.
I'm giving you a courtesy violation, a warning, and then from there on, I'll stroke you.
Every time it happens after that,
Yeah.
that's a stroke.
Like,
Because
Surely
you've been
the rest of the card will
You don't talk to
agree.
me the rest of the day. I've had rounds like that.
like me today.
Correct. You do not talk to me the rest of the day.
I'll be talking to Bobby the rest of the podcast, guys.
So I've had rounds like that where I've had to say that to somebody. Just don't talk to me.
Yeah, and sometimes that's just from bad attitudes.
Yeah.
But that's one of the really, really unfortunate things about being in competition is there are some people who they haven't spent enough time getting their skills ready, so they just want to try and prey on you, and that bothers me a lot. If I played with that person at a tournament, first time, if they're really intently asking, is it your box? I want to know if it's my box. I want to play in the correct order of play, like as dictated by the rules. But after that, like if I'm running up, nope.
If the guy's running up, I'd let him know after. Be like, are you sure it was your turn?
Yeah. If you were being genuine about it, I think you would do.
Or
that.
if somebody jumps me and I know it's my turn and they're jumping ahead of me, the only time I will stop them is if they haven't started to move. If they're standing there, I'll be like, I think it's me.
Yep.
That is acceptable.
Yeah,
But as soon as
that's
they start
courtesy.
to move, I'll let them go. I'll let them throw their shot just because I'm not going to stop them to try to. I'm not trying to get in their head.
No, yeah, and that's the exact opposite of what he's describing.
yeah.
That's Bush League in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like
Jerk store.
Yeah, for real.
Jerk store.
Where'd you get those clothes? The toilet store.
All right, next one is from Cody.
What's up, Disc Golf Answer Man crew and Robert McCall?
Hateful.
Today I'd like to start off with a cool piece of information. My wife and I recently traveled up to Hayward, Wisconsin, which is sort of local for us. It's about an hour and a half north of where we live, to a course called Fiddler's Creek. And at the clubhouse there, they have a bunch of scorecards that have course records and different aces. And I just want you to know, Eric, that you still are tied for the course record with a 45 out of a par 61.
Boom.
At that course from 2007. So congratulations on that, and hopefully I can break that soon.
Awesome.
But my original question is, I know that you guys talked a lot about throwing in the wind, headwind versus tailwind, what stability to look for, and how to release. My question is uphill and downhill throwing. I really kind of struggle with throwing uphill, and just looking for some tips on uphill versus downhill. What do you choose for stability, and how do you normally release the disc to maximize distance and accuracy? All right. Thanks, guys. Keep it up. Keep it real.
Well, if this guy's going for my course record, I'm not giving him any tips.
That's right. Next question, please. Hey, that's just a casual 16 under. That's not bad.
That's not bad. Pretty solid. Yeah. I remember that course too. It was a lot of fun. It was when we were just happened to be driving through.
I bet it is fun if you shot 16 under.
Yeah, it was.
Anyway, go. You talk about uphill. I'll talk about downhill.
Okay. Well, for uphill shots, we don't have a whole lot of uphill shots around here. But obviously on the road, I've played a lot of holes, a lot of courses that have a lot of elevation. When I'm throwing uphill, I'm throwing something relatively understable. With almost a hyzer, like I'll even throw my roller disc on an uphill shot with hyzer line, obviously, and kind of pace back a little bit, not try to rip it, not try to throw it at 100%, just give it a nice, easy pull so I can get some accurate shot releases out of it. And I don't like to go too overstable because it's just going to dump. You're not going to get any distance out of the disc. Depending on how far uphill you're throwing, I like to club down, so to speak. So if it's a huge uphill shot that I would normally throw, say, a trespass on, I'll tone back and throw maybe a convict or even a renegade. So uphill, absolutely throw something a little bit more understable than you would. And if you're on the side of a hill with your footing as well, if it's like a second shot, something else I like to do is run up kind of at an angle, kind of a side angle. You can get a little bit more traction, a little more power behind the disc than trying to run directly straight up the hill.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. I hadn't even thought about that until I watched Zach Melton play at Worlds. And he ran up almost at 90 degrees to one of his shots, but he was really the only one on his card that got up to the pin from where he was because he actually could get some momentum. But yeah, with uphill shots, when it's a more unstable discs want to stay in the air.
Yes.
That's why you choose them for uphill shots, because if you try and force something over on Anheuser, you're having to work a lot harder to achieve less results because they want to get to the ground. You know, you have to throw it so much higher. So downhill, it's the opposite. I'll usually throw a little more stable when I'm throwing downhill, but also I think even more important than the stability is matching the angle of the hill that you're throwing. If you're throwing a really, really steep downhill, if you let something go kind of flat eye level, even maybe a little downhill, chances are that's way offline.
It's going way left.
Yeah,
if you're right-handed.
Right. So, like I said, I think even more important than stability is just matching the angle of a hill, and that's going to feel really weird. But even if you're not reaching the basket, you're going to have a better chance of being in line with where you want to if you match that angle.
I love downhill shots.
So much fun.
They're so much fun.
I like throwing like putters and mids on. Just you hit your funny bone.
Well, I was saying I would like to throw I like EMAC Truths on downhill shots.
Yeah,
because it just has the pop and it stays in the air and just has that glide.
Yeah,
and it
doesn't finish super hard.
No, it just holds.
Yep.
That could get you in trouble if you miss your line.
Right. Yeah, you're gonna want to ensure that you throw it properly.
Yeah.
So earlier in the podcast, we were talking about celebrating some of our team members doing really well this past weekend. Another thing that we like to do for our team members, especially the ones that tour a lot, is we have touring fundraiser discs, I guess you'd call it. And so we have something special right now. These are Moonshine Criminals. Before we get into who has them,
where's
Eric,
the beef?
Where's the beef? Yeah, Eric, tell us the flight and what people can expect from a Moonshine Criminal.
It's a staple in my bag at the moment, especially playing around here with the wind. I've noticed it's replaced my Felon, actually, for the most part. My older Felons that I used to throw a lot that were very overstable. This one, it doesn't have the glide, I would say. Not that the Felon has a lot of glide to it, but I know what it's going to do. I have to throw it hard and flat, and I know it's going to just finish left. It's so overstable. I actually like throwing it on forehands too, if it's a shorter forehand. If I need to get around something, not a lot of skip to it, but I know I can just put a lot of force behind the disc, and it's gonna be stable. I don't ever have to worry about turning that disc over.
Very cool. So yes, we have some Moonshine Criminals, and we have the kind of the logos for each of our touring, and these are the people that actually. Let's see.
Yeah,
they're pounding the pavement.
Yeah, they're the ones really out there.
To be fair, these were the touring players that were at Worlds.
Okay,
and me.
And you.
Yeah, that's right.
So we have Paige Pierce has her little
thumbprint.
Yeah. Thumbprint. No, it's not her actual thumbprint.
Yeah, so don't steal her stuff.
Yeah, no, it's not her actual thumbprint. But they're like the little, I hate to say corner because it's a circular disc, obviously. But it's the little stamp. It's a Dymax, but it's a little thumbprint. And then we have Emax Silhouette. We have Drew Gibson's with the hair and the glasses with the D and the G. And then Zach Melton with his crazy hair.
That one's awesome.
Beard, that was awesome. And then Whale Pants, which represents Eric Oakley and Tina Stenitis, the little Whale Pants logo. So anyway, you can go to dynamicdisc.com, search under new releases, or you can just search Moonshine Criminal, and you'll be able to find it. But get you a really solid disc, and you'll be able to support some of the touring players as well.
And if you want my signature,
Oh, yes.
I'm
since he's
around,
here,
so
yeah.
I can absolutely do that for
He
you.
can sign it for it. Now, you might be thinking, well, Eric doesn't really seem to tour a lot. Well, this is really to get him out to do the course design and stuff like that. So, because he still gets out.
I'm
and
still
travels.
traveling playing
I was
events.
going to say, but next year,
I'll be playing.
Eric's going to be
Yeah.
eligible for Masters,
Yep.
and Masters Worlds next year is in Kansas City.
Yep.
So-
And the Tim Selinsky Masters is in Crown Point,
Really?
Indiana.
Ooh, you know something about that
I've
place?
been there before.
Yeah,
So-
that's where Eric won his world championship
Yes,
in
sir.
2010.
So
yeah, we've talked about next year get on the road a little bit more.
yeah, I'll be playing
a
a
few more
lot of the
tournaments.
bigger events probably, and I'm not just going to go out and just play Masters everywhere. I'll be playing some open events as well.
Yeah,
Just
not
to-
like touring, but just
No, but
getting
you
to more
said we've
tournaments.
talked about.
Oh, Eric and I
Oh,
have
well,
like
yeah,
like
we've
traveling
talked
together to him.
traveling to some events together to play.
You got jokes? Come on, I'm ready.
No, I was just saying.
I'm ready for the jokes.
Just saying.
Not happening.
No, I don't know.
Hey,
I'm just messing with
look, all I'm saying is we go to bigger events. I can play mediocre and get better ratings than
I'm
I do
messing
at
with you,
local
dude.
events. So
I'm messing with you.
bets in your face is what's going to happen.
Bets in my face, huh?
The 1,000 rated bet.
right.
That's what I've got on my mind. That 1,000 rated.
Yeah, well, this is going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We'll see.
Sorry about you.
We'll see.
You want him playing like local C tiers and stuff, not
Correct.
out playing big majors.
This
and
is true. Good
NTs.
point. Good point. So we want you to travel like the night of, so that you never practice the course.
That's
It's where you
right.
time it to where you show up for your tea time.
Right, exactly. So, all right, let's go to the last question from Speakpipe.
Speakpipe.
Thank you. This is from Jason.
Hey guys, this is Jason. 2 fieldwork questions for you today.
Sorry, guys.
The first one, do you have any suggestions on how to really nail down your release point while working in the field? Recently, I played a very wooded course, and being off by a foot or two right or left, wound up hitting a lot of trees. I've been doing a lot of field work recently, and it just seemed like you could ignore that foot or two really easily in the field, but when you actually get in the narrow gaps and approaches, it makes a huge difference. Second,
We'll do the first one first.
First one first. My recommendation would be to start by slowing down. Slow down to where you're throwing your putters in mid-ranges and to where you're hitting the same release point every time. So don't worry about your run-up. Don't do any of that. Once that's consistent, you can kind of...
How do I know what's the right release point?
I think you pick a target that you're trying to hit every single time. And
Like the store? Do I have to go to the store?
you have to go to the Target store. That's where they have the best discs.
Right.
No, you pick a tree or something,
Right.
and you want to release at that tree. Wherever the disc finishes is of no consequence to you. You're just planning on a release point.
Okay.
That's what I do when I'm doing stuff like that.
Okay.
It's easier in the woods than it is in the open.
Lots more targets to pick,
Yeah, I mean,
not
it's,
stores.
and you know if you're missing your lines a lot easier because on an open course you can still miss your line and score as well. As where on a wooded course you can't do that as well.
Right.
As far as practicing it goes, I like to set up. I mean, I don't really do this much anymore, but if you have access to like a net or anything like that, and then you can just put some tape on it, like an X or whatever it is, and just absolutely concentrate on hitting that release point just to get. I mean, all that really does is build your confidence going into your tournament rounds or your practice rounds when you're out actually playing on the woods trying to hit a line.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Second part.
Second part is
question. When practicing in the field, I've been throwing a lot of putters, but there are various different types and styles of putters that I've collected over the years and trying new things out to see what works for my game. Does it matter if I'm throwing the same type of putter in the field? Should I go out and buy, 6 judges? Or does it not make a difference at all if they're different styles and stabilities and molds and all that kind of thing? Will that prevent any differences? Thanks a lot.
so you shouldn't buy 6 judges.
12?
That's ridiculous. Go buy 16.
I was gonna say
judges.
20.
No, I'm playing. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Eric.
It kind of depends on what you're trying to achieve from your field work. If you're concentrating on just hitting lines and not hitting lines, I suppose,
Like release point.
release points or form, then it doesn't really matter what you're throwing. If you're trying to work on throwing 250-foot flat shot with a putter, then yes, you need to be throwing what you're going to be throwing in an event or during a round. The one thing I don't recommend, and I've not recommended this for years, is throwing your putters.
Yep. Don't do it.
I've seen people do it, and I actually don't even. I putt with judges right now, and I don't even throw the judge. I throw marshals instead. And the reason is I don't want to be tempted to throw my putters during the round and maybe hit the basket or hit a tree and take a big chunk out of it, and then who knows how it's going to fly. Or, even worse, lose it in a creek or something. So don't throw your putters.
Yeah. I'd say the most important thing for that is just throw the molds that you actually have in your bag. So for me, I throw 2 Wardens, a Marshall, and a Slammer. So those are the putters I go out and practice with. Now I have judges, I have pures, I have other putters, but I'm not going to use those in competition, so it doesn't benefit me to go and throw those in the field unless, like you said, I'm specifically working on aiming point or release point.
Excellent. All right, we're going on to excellent. We're going on to the written questions. This one is from Joseph. Hey, cool daddy, Emac and Robert McCall. I've noticed that when I practice putting from straddle putting, I'm releasing low a lot if I'm further away and need to put power on it. What do y'all recommend to get the disc up to where I'm not hitting the cage? Also, what can I do to get more power on a straddle putt? I play a lot in the woods and use it more than I would like. Hashtag can't even drive for show.
At least he's honest.
That's sad.
Yeah. Not only can he not putt for dough, he also can't drive for show.
Drive for show.
I respect that.
That's too bad.
So what do you do to keep the disc up?
Well, for a spin putter, it's different than a push putter. We don't know what kind of putter he is, but you can talk about spin.
Spin putting for me, it's a lot easier. It's just a matter of really release points. And for me, I like keeping the nose up on the front end of the disc on my spin putts. This way, if I happen to miss just low, I have more of an opportunity for it to go in. And if I'm missing high, it's not going to go too terribly far past. So I've always thought spin putting was a little bit more accurate for me. Push putting is great. It works great for some people, but to me, there's more room for error. Now, the error may be greater
for a spin putt.
Learning to spin putt by missing it wide right or wide left, then you're going to have the same putt you have coming back. But if you're confident enough hitting those lines, then you'll be confident enough to make the putts.
For sure.
But as far as keeping it up a little bit more, I mean, it sounds cheesy, but I mean, your release point just needs to be a little bit higher.
Yep.
If you're constantly missing low, then you absolutely just need to bring it up a little bit. If you're coming from, lower down, try from your hip or from your belly button, on release points. And as far as straddles go, straddles are hard to learn. Straddles are, it's almost impossible to get a lot of power behind a straddle putt. For me, as a spin putter, straddle putts really only come into play when I absolutely need them to.
Yep. This is going to sound counterintuitive if you're like a regular type straddle putter who straddles out and brings their arm kind of between their legs relatively low. That's kind of what my pull down looks like. And when I'm straddle putting and I'm trying to get a little bit more power, if I'm having trouble hitting the cage low, I won't pull my arm down quite as far. So that shortens my stroke a little bit, but the power from my stroke doesn't come from the backswing, it comes from the upswing, right? So when I shorten that pullback a little bit more, it allows me to hit my release point a little bit higher. So I'm trying to let the disc go most of the time at about chin height to eye height, something like that's what it feels like to me when I throw a good straddle putt. So you may try, if you're more of a push or kind of hybrid putter, you may try shortening your backstroke just a little bit, not a ton, but so that it's easier to get your arm all the way up. It doesn't have to travel quite as far.
All right. Next question comes from Colby. In your opinion, what would you consider pro distance for a backhand throw and forehand throw? Average distances among all pros and or minimum distances for a competitive pro. I am new to disc golf and know accuracy and precision are of higher importance over distance for all players, but I'm just curious what your consensus thoughts are regarding pro distance. Thanks for the quality pod.
I don't think there is a pro distance.
Yeah.
I really don't. I
mean, it's different for touring pros and local pros as well.
I mean, sure, majority of the touring pros can accurately throw 400 feet. Yep. I think 400 feet's a pretty good, and a lot of people,
or even 450.
People don't know what 400 feet actually is.
True.
I know I got a buddy, Kevin Babbitt, who plays locally. Great player. He probably maxes out at about 400, or at least he used to when he played a lot more. I mean, a 400-foot drive for him was really good, and he would still compete and still win a lot because he's more accurate on the putting green. So for me, that's the problem with a lot of beginners and people getting into the sport is they think automatically these top players throw so far, that's what I've got to learn. That's not the case. Learn how to putt, learn how to approach first. As soon as you get those nailed down, that's when you can start concentrate a little bit more on getting more distance. Because honestly, tournaments are won on the putting green, not on the being able to throw it 500 feet.
Yep. You know who's a really good example of that? There's a couple in Texas, both of whom we've played with a lot, and that's Jay Redding and JD Ramirez.
JD Ramirez is what I was thinking.
Yep. They both. Jay has had knee problems for quite a while, and so, I mean, if he throws one 400 right now, like he smashed it. And it's the same for JD. He can throw a little bit farther than that, but his run up is really quick. His pullback is short, but he is just laser accurate. And then both of them are fantastic putters.
Correct.
And I've lost numerous tournaments to them. I don't outdrive a ton of people, but I outdrive those guys, and I'd outdrive them by 30 feet, and I'd be 15 feet from the basket. They'd be 45. They make their 45-footer, and now my 15-footer, at least when my mental game is a little weaker, feels like a 30-footer. It's a lot different. So I don't think there's really a good distance that you could say, like, all right, once you're throwing this distance, you should be able to move up and play open.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good gauge. There are people in intermediate who throw a lot farther than I do, and I'll beat them by 10, It's about developing that touch game.
Very cool. Next one is from Simon.
Was that?
Let's see. Why we're not marketing our sport to athletes who could easily transition into disc golf? Or why are we not marketing our sport to athletes who could easily transition into disc golf? For example, baseball and softball players or tennis players. Well, I mean,
you mean directly?
I guess he says, why are we not marketing? Well, I mean,
because they make millions of dollars,
right? I mean, I was trying to think of a different way to say it. With I mean, to cut to the chase,
I don't know if he's talking about collegiate, maybe leveled baseball players, and not obviously not MLB players, because they're gonna laugh at you for trying to tell them that they should come play disc golf. I don't think that's what he's saying. I strongly believe it's high school athletes. Yeah. Sure, but
how are we not?
I don't understand.
Say we aren't.
Well, we're not targeting like a specific.
We're not
sport.
targeting anybody, right? We're just trying to get the love of the game out there. We're not targeting certain people and being like, "Hey, you should play disc golf," And who's to say that? I mean, an athletic person who takes pride in taking care of themselves and works out all the time, that they would be even good at disc golf.
That's true.
I mean,
because there are a lot of really super athletic people that I've played with who are not good.
Yeah.
And then there are people who are pretty out of shape who have just smashed me.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a tricky one.
Yep.
Next one is Maz. As a degenerate and a disc golfer,
wow,
I really want to be able to bet on pro events. Everyone wants to grow the sport, and a lot of people watch other sports just because they have money on it. Why else would anyone watch a Browns versus Jets game?
Fair question, Maz.
Anyway, are you for or against this happening, or do you see Vegas taking odds on disc golf tournaments anytime in the near future?
I don't see it happening in the near future, but I'm all for it. I think it'd be cool.
I would love to see handicapping and lines on disc golf tournaments, just for the fun of it. Because I listen to Bill Simmons' podcast every once in a while, and they talk about the lines on NFL games, NBA games, things like that.
I don't know about the handicapping part of it. I don't know that I would care for that, but I know that they do. Actually, I join a...
I just mean for betting, not for...
No, I realize that, but I don't even know if they would... Well, they would give you 30-1 odds or whatever like that.
Right.
Correct.
Just to see, like...
But I actually do a Masters poll every year, and I think it's like $25 or something like that to get in, and you pick 8 players, and your 8 players, whoever makes the most money out of your 8 players, wins some of the pot. And there's like, I don't know, 5,000 or 6,000 people that compete in this. And like first place is like 10 grand or something like that. So I mean, I've yet to win, obviously, but it's pretty cool, and I like that side of things. And I know Skip Ace is kind of doing a little bit of that now. They've got the $20 bet bowl. That I don't know. I don't think either one of you got in that.
I didn't.
I did,
and I
am
really bad this year.
I am in 4th place.
Dang.
So I'm really liking that one, but no, I think it's cool. I think it could happen in the future. I don't see
Not near future.
No, in the future, but I don't see Vegas stepping up and giving odds on Ricky Wysocki or Paul Macbeth.
No.
Be cool.
It would be cool.
All right, next question comes from
Put all my money on Bobby Brown.
Yeah. What kind of
bet on
odds would he be getting?
Would I get?
This one
Never mind.
comes from Justin. Hey guys, I was just wondering if any of you are looking to play in this year's VPO Veterans Park Open. It was so cool to watch Eric Oakley smash my home course. Pulse, I think he meant plus. I would love to play on a card with Bobby. Aww.
That's nice.
When is the Veterans Park Open?
November.
Is that's a Texas tournament, right?
It is.
I have no plans to play in the Veterans Park Open, Eric. That doesn't mean it won't happen, but I have no plans.
Last year, maybe I missed the last 2, but up until then, it had been my longest running tournament, I think. One of them. And my first year I went and played was in 1997.
Dang.
And I won AM2.
Got him.
Yeah, it was awesome. Right now, I don't know. It depends on when it is, I guess. I know November is kind of...
November 11th, 12th. Arlington, Texas.
It'd be cool. I would really enjoy going. If I'm available open that weekend, I would be more than happy to go down.
That's how I feel about it too. I haven't planned on it right now, but
Oh, Mr. Touring guy now.
oh my gosh, dude.
Let's go. Let's go.
If we don't have anything
Let's
else,
go.
I'm down.
I got a place to stay. Let's go.
See you there.
There it is. Veteran Park's open.
Bobby won't be there.
No, Bobby's
Well,
not
it's
going.
only it's
They do
Open
a
Pro.
separate AM
There's an
weekend.
AM
Yeah.
weekend too.
I'm
but
not. When am I going to go?
You're gonna go for the AM weekend.
The weekend before?
Sure.
All by myself?
Yeah. You can
It's
stay
not
at my
even
parents'
listed
house.
on here. I'd go just to hang out with Mr. and
With
Mrs.
my
McCabe.
parents?
Yeah.
They would appreciate that.
Yeah. All right. Next question comes from Kyle. When will we see a new updated flight chart for the 2017 releases?
We're working on that as we speak.
No way.
Yep.
Nice. There you go. Next question. Dylan, as someone with a slower arm speed, should I be throwing heavier or lighter discs? I currently throw around a 173.
Depends on what you're trying to achieve. If you're trying to achieve greater distance, then lighter weight discs will get you more distance on the most for the most part. If you are worried about your discs getting batted around in the wind, then you want to throw heavier discs.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think, is it working for you, throwing the heavier stuff now? I think ever since I started, I've always just thrown heavy for the most part. So I guess you got to look at it. What's it doing for you? How's it, are discs that kind of flip over for some other people? Are they really overstable for you? And if that's the case, then maybe try some lighter stuff. But it can't hurt to try it. I would suggest at least trying it to see what you're missing. You won't know until you try.
Yeah.
So I would probably. It's probably safe to say I'm probably the slowest arm of the three of us. So
I think that is safe to say.
Yeah. I have a tendency, not in the putters.
4 of us.
Yes, actually, yes.
Yeah.
Anthony can outthrow me for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I can play Peter Pan better than Anthony.
Got him! Oh, no!
So anyway, what I have found myself doing is with my putters, I keep heavy putters because of the wind factor. But for my drivers, I notice what I'm doing, and maybe this is dumb, but it's in my mind what I'm doing.
We'll find out.
Well, yeah.
We'll let you know.
Is I'm going for the lighter weights, but if it's something that I know that it's going to be windy, then I'm picking the disc that I know will fight the wind, like a Defender for me, or like an enforcer for me, a Biofusion enforcer. Now I won't get the lightest one, but I'm not going to get the heaviest one because I believe that the lighter weight I can get it to up to close to the speed that it's supposed to. Mm-hmm. But if it's a windy day and you're saying, well, don't get light because of windies, well, then I'm just picking a different disc. I'm going to grab my Defender or Enforcer because I know it's going to fight the wind and go left or straighten up for me in the heavy wind.
Yeah, I think that's a great call.
So maybe that'll help you, Dylan.
That's not dumb at all, Bobby.
Yay.
This time,
yeah. You get it this time. This one's from Alan. Greeting CDSB, EMAC, and Robert C.W. McCall.
CW?
So like the CW channel?
I don't have any idea.
All right. What is the story on why DD names their discs law/legal names? Just a wondering.
Jeremy really likes the Shawshank Redemption.
I mean, it basically...
So soon we'll have the red.
Yes.
Andy.
So, do you know why Morgan Freeman's character's name is Red?
Negative.
Eric?
Do I know why his name is Red?
In the movie, yeah, why that's
his last name is Redding.
No.
I mean, it was, but...
He doesn't even know.
All right, then you tell us.
I also didn't know.
CW?
Yeah. Why is it?
I read on IMDb that the reason is because in the book that Stephen King wrote, which is The Shawshank Redemption, it's actually a white person with red hair.
Huh.
I believe he's an Irishman. And so
he did say he was Irish in the movie.
Right, and that was kind of a what do you call it? A homage to the book.
Oh, that's cool.
By saying he was Irish, and then his nickname was Red, or was his name Red or nickname Red?
They called him
Red.
Yeah.
And that's the reason because
Redding.
the guy had red hair in the thing.
I watched The Shawshank Redemption Sunday.
Yep.
That's like one of those movies that if you're flipping through the channel and you're like not finding anything, you're like Shawshank, boom, I'll watch it.
And it was on, and it was like marathon day because it was nothing but that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I watched.
That's
like
exactly what
12
it is for me,
times. I
too.
didn't get anything done that day.
Oh yeah, I won't pass it.
So
you were around whenever DD started making discs.
I was
Do you
around.
know any of the rationale behind that?
It really, from my understanding, it came down to we had to think of names for discs. Mm-hmm. What do we do? Let's pick a theme. Everything's been done. Let's pick a theme. Jeremy likes Shawshank Redemption, and so
I mean that's true.
Yeah,
Part of that is true, and I think a lot of it also. I mean, you could say that Emporia being home of Veterans Day, founding city of Veterans Day, that kind of, I mean, could have had a little to do with it as well, but but yeah, most of it's just because Jeremy likes Shawshank.
Now, there's a lot of names that some people want us to or have suggested. And what we have a spreadsheet that has the names that we all came up with. And as we come out with new discs, we grab that name. But one of the important factors of why we pick a certain name now, as we're kind of dwindling down on the list, is that will it look good? Because you can't have like
Executioner.
Yeah, Executioner or the Prosecutor or something like that because it's going to be super long. Name. Someone just tried to come in our door. Sorry, guys. You can't have a super long name because it won't fit with our font that we use.
Yeah.
Or it just will look weird.
Or it's just a bad name that fits the category.
Or too small.
Yeah, you can't have like.
I mean, Thief is
about as
I think
small.
Thief
as
was small. Yeah,
because of the I.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like the I, the E, and then I think sometimes C gives us issues or something like that. Like Jacob has to get creative with how the C does on the wing. So anyway, there's a lot of little things that happen in there. I know a lot of people are like, how come you don't have a name like Alibi? Well, it doesn't. With the two I's in there, it would look weird and stuff like that. So
Shank.
The Shank, yeah.
Shiv.
That's just probably not a good idea. All right, next one is, this is going to be our last question for this episode, is from Jeremiah. Hi, Bobby Brown, Cool Daddy Slick Breeze, Eric throwing nothing but EMAC Truth, McCabe, and Robert,
fact.
Nobody Cares McCall.
Hateful Jeremiah. My wife cares.
He did say LOL, JK.
Ha, LOL.
Robert, you're out. Oh, so he kind of redeems
He kind of
himself.
cares.
Okay.
Robert, you're a great addition to the podcast
Thanks,
and
Doc.
the team.
Thanks, Doc.
You're a great addition to the team, even though you've been on the team for quite a few years.
It's okay. Whatever.
I've been playing in a lot more tournaments and have been moving up in ratings and also in skill level from recreation to intermediate to now advanced. Since I've been playing better competition now, I want to be prepared. I don't have a lot of time due to the fact that I have a 7-month-old son and a family. Is playing the course the best way, or should I look to field work and putting since I don't have a lot of time?
Yes, field work and putting.
And playing the course. Oh.
All of the above. No, I mean, I would honestly concentrate more on putting than anything, and I stress this a lot, but it shows how important it is. I would concentrate more on putting when you have that available time, and then every now and then, if you've got time, just go out and play around. Just a nice casual round and throw a couple shots if you can, but for the most part, I would just try and concentrate on the field work and the putting aspect of things.
If you're getting ready for a tournament, I like having a round on that course if possible. I really don't like to play blind. But if I know I'm going to get a round in on the course and I'm going to have limited time earlier that week to spend with my family, 100%. I'll make sure that my putting stroke feels good. And I'll throw just some little kind of touch up shots, things like that, just so everything feels sharp.
That's what I'm thinking with the 7-month-old is that, there may not be a lot of times where you can drive to a course and practice. And so having a practice basket, and then, when you put the baby down for their nap or something like that, and you've got, a 30-minute window to yourself.
You can go wake it up by putting.
Putting. Ching. Yeah. Maybe, doing some putting would be the best way to get some practice in.
Teach your child to putt on one of the new micro recruits.
There you go. Or teach your child to
You're
retrieve
welcome.
your discs.
That's even better. Okay, you win. You win today, Eric.
What he needs to do is take a picture of his baby and put it on the Junior Judge Dymax.
Ooh.
True.
We have
Available
those
at dynamicdisc.com right now.
Yeah. So anyway, yes, that's kind of a couple weeks we've had them, but the Junior Judge now has the Dymax option. So I actually did that and put my little Sebastian, my dog, on there, and it looks so cute.
Fly.
Yeah, I got to get Walter on one of those at some point.
You need to. We need to do because Trevor told me because you posted your picture of Ralph.
The picture
on
of
there.
Ralph is awesome,
wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, that was on a slammer, by the way. That's not
Yes.
on one of the juniors, but you can.
Yes,
still
yeah.
do that.
But Trevor was like, I got like a few orders of dog pictures in, so I thought that was cool. So.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, you can submit your questions at discgolfanswerman.com. We will get it on the air. You can head over to our Facebook group. You can search for you can search for Disc Golf Answer Man Podcast by Dynamic Discs on Facebook. I thought maybe we could take a few minutes to kind of look over some of the questions that are on Facebook.
See if there's anything we can
make
check
fun
out
of
real
people
quick.
or something.
Yeah, perfect. Berate everyone.
So pretty much I wanted to, and I thought of this when it came up because I know that you are a Warden man.
Right.
And a gentleman said he was looking for something. Now I think he said he was kind of kidding, being sarcastic, but he said the Warden is terrible at sticking the chains and staying in. Is there something similar?
That guy plays in Bartlesville, Oklahoma.
Oh, he's there a Bartlesville dude?
Just so you know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He actually got a lot of responses on that.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on the Warden and him having problem with it sticking to the chains?
I think what he was saying was that he gets more, I guess, I don't know, spit outs than usual, or that the Wardens aren't good at sticking to the chains. I have some sweet filter about to be on my face if y'all follow Eric on Instagram. I mean, on Snapchat. He said he was having trouble with those sticking to the chains, and so a lot of people just got on there and said, it's not the putter, it's you. It's not the putter, it's you. And to some extent, probably true. But for me, Wardens have never spit out on me any more or less than any other putters. It's just, for me, the putter that feels most comfortable in my hand and that gives me the best flight. It's really straight for me. I putt with a slight bit of hyzer, and they just finish to the left most of the time. A lot of times they'll just be really straight. For somebody like that who's having problems with spit outs, or I tried to ask this question on there, and so I'd be interested, if you wanted to call into Anchor or something, I'd love to hear him explain this answer. But when he says spit outs, I'm wondering if he's talking about dead center pole that just happens to cut through or come straight back out, or are we talking about you catch a couple right side chains, a couple left side chains, and it doesn't fall in? Because those are different things. Spit outs and cut throughs, you really can't do a whole lot about unless you're putting on super hyzer on the right side of the basket. Then you're going to get cut throughs. Mm-hmm. But if you're just catching chains on the left and right, it honestly doesn't matter what plastic the putter is or what mold it is. It's not going to catch.
Yeah, I don't think it's the putter.
Yeah. So
that's why I asked him what basket he was
right.
using.
And if it's Mach 3s, then you have a totally legitimate complaint. It's not about the putter. But
which, Bobby? What baskets are in Bartlesville?
Which ones are in Bartlesville?
I think they have. I thought I heard they had Mach 3s and disc catchers.
The disc catchers, I believe, is at the new one. The Mach 3
Big
could be
yellow
at the
band, yeah.
Sooner Park or
Sooner
whatever.
Park. Yeah.
Yeah. But here's the thing: if you're not confident in the putter that you're putting with, it doesn't matter how well it flies for you. If switching a mold will help you, switch your mold. That's a great call. But at the end of the day, once your putting stroke is consistent, if you're just hitting the left and right side, you really got to work on hitting a consistent point. That's kind of what I said to him. And I've had those struggles where you don't feel like you can make anything. Yeah, but yeah, that's for me. That's a problem of mine, not the putters, not the baskets. I need to do my job before I can, get sad if I get a cut through or a spit out.
Spit outs happen.
That's just life. And if I hit it right in the center, it comes back out. I didn't do anything wrong. I think to myself, I made a good putt. That stinks that I have to throw one more time, but I threw a good putt.
Yeah.
All right, another subject that Justin Fibble, I hope I said that right. He wants to know, he putts with the Triple S Wizards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
What's
super stupid soft is what
is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Super stupid.
And they're actually harder than our blends.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird. So he's trying to look for something similar in our line. What would you guys suggest? It looked like a lot of people are saying Judges.
I would say Blend Judge because
Blend Judge.
it's got the bead on it. It
Someone
has
said
very
Crown.
Similar feel. Maybe a Crown.
I think the ground probably has a little more
Here's the
glide
thing.
than the Wizard,
Here's the
but-
thing. You can't really ask that question on these pages without getting 100 different answers from 100 different people because they're just going to give what works for them, which is fine. And which is, I suppose that's what the player is asking for.
Sure.
But if you want my honest opinion, I would say either one of two discs. I would say a Blend Judge or a Medium Shield. One of those two is going to have a very similar flight, overstable.
Pretty similar feel, too.
Yeah. I know it says super stupid soft, but I don't know who names that plastic at Gateway, but that is definitely not soft.
So I guess the reason that's part of the reason why I brought it up is because when you go to, and I see it on this page, I see it on, it doesn't just happen. I know a lot of people like to say Trilogy fanboys. They just always it happens on every manufacturer's page. The point I'm getting at is be careful when you ask Facebook world what is like a XYZ disc because you're going to get so many different opinions because there's so many
you just
variables.
throw that? Why you change?
Yeah, why change? But you're going to get different because in their mind, either they don't know what a wizard is, or they have a wizard and they've thrown a wizard and they have in their mind what it does for them, and now they use something different for whatever reason they're going to suggest. So you just got to be real careful. You just got to be ready to kind of take a few of the suggestions and then go out there and try it. What's awesome, segue,
buyback,
is we have a buyback program, which at the buyback retailers, you can actually try the discs, and if they don't work out for you, you can take them back within 14 days with proof of purchase. Let's see, next one. Let's go. Oh, this one I thought we could talk about because, and I did notice this on the last episode. Someone asked about shoes, about our shoes, right?
Yeah.
About shoes, and we mentioned Merrill and Keen and Solomon or Salmon, however Robert called it, and
however you called it. Come on,
and we never mentioned the Latitude 64 T-Links, and I wanted to address that because the question actually said. I actually went back and listened to it. He says, ones that you're familiar, what are you guys wearing? Well, I just never happened to get into the T-Link. And then I saw Eric had mentioned now, and it was kind of the same reason because I had tried them on, and they felt a little bulky, a little heavier. And at the time, I already had my Solomons, and they were already my trail-heavy shoes and stuff like that. So, but I didn't know if you guys wanted to touch on that of your experience with the T-Links.
I think they're a great shoe, a very well put together shoe. But like Bobby mentioned, that I'd mentioned, that they are a little bulky. They're a little heavy. And if I'm playing a lot of golf that day, then my feet are probably the most important part of my body at that point because that's what's going to start hurting the most, and that's what's going to start dragging you down a little bit. And I'm not saying that they're not super comfortable because they are pretty comfortable shoes for the most part. I just prefer a little bit lighter weight shoe. Now, I will say that the waterproof on them is amazing.
Yeah.
They are, my feet have never been wet anytime I wore them. But, and to be honest, the Keen shoes that I wear or the Solomons that I have on today, those were shoes that were given to me for free.
Right.
because
Yeah.
we have Keen reps or Solomon reps that come through, and we get to test some stuff out. That's the beauty of dating someone that orders all the shoes and stuff. So
That's right.
We get free samples every now and then. So I'm not going to go out and buy a pair. I mean, nobody's going to do that. Am I right? Am I wrong in saying that? Would you go buy a pair of shoes if they were given to you?
No.
And you like them? I mean, they work for you.
No.
I mean,
I see what you mean. Yeah.
so that's part of the other reason that I haven't really gave the T-Links a full tryout, I guess you would say. But no, I just really like Keen and Solomon.
Yeah. Really briefly too, waterproof shoes tend to be hotter. They're not very well ventilated because they keep water out.
And they stank.
That's true. Yeah. So that means in the summer, your feet are going to be very, very hot. So we're in summer right now. I wouldn't wear a waterproof shoe unless it was raining, personally.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I do because the Keens that I have, I've worn holes in them.
And why is that again?
So they're
conditioning.
ventilated now. Yeah.
Oh, because they're not going to be very, very, very
Because his
well
feet are going to be
ventilated?
super
Breathable.
hot, and then when he takes his shoes off later in a small room,
Right.
everybody's going to hate him.
Yeah. Well, I'm less worried about that because that's just
We're
standard for me.
worried about that.
Yeah, that's
so.
true. But I just want my feet to be more comfortable while I'm playing.
You have to have super comfortable shoes.
Yep.
Excellent. All right, well, we're running way over time, so I wanted to get
Way
done with
over.
it way over time. So, guys, thanks for posting your stuff on the Facebook group. Guys, make sure you keep it civil. You guys are doing a really good job, and I appreciate that. Keep it civil when we talk on there, and also keep it on topic. I appreciate that as well. But we love to have you guys post videos of your form, ask maybe rules questions. Sometimes some of our pros will get on there and kind of give advice and stuff like that. So really cool stuff. I think that's all I have.
That sounds good.
That's it, guys. See you next week.
Nope. Bye.
Wait, why?
I mean, I'll be gone next week.
Oh.
I'll be here.
Want you guys going to Am Worlds?
Yeah, but we don't leave till
Oh,
Yeah,
till
not
Thursday.
till Thursday, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so we can record on Tuesday.
Yeah, you got me, Anthony.
Oh, special guest.
Special guest.
I see how it is.
Okay, bye.
Bye.